When you paint in monochromatic, you're going to use the palette knife or the end of your brush. All right, don't use the bristles to mix your paint. If you use the bristles to mix your paint, two things happen. You get paint in the ferrule, and you also get little pieces of dark or light inside of the brush that you can't get out, and you're going to be painting along, and all of a sudden there's going to be a black spot or a white spot or something you didn't want. All right, you're going to make a palette first. You make the palette of paint by mixing your light. You pull the white first aside, barely any blue or any of your color. Your number 1 is basically white. Your number 2 is a little bit darker. I'm going to make a 3 here. Then your 3 is even darker. The hard part with this project is not to mix your black and white paint up. If you mix your black and white paint, what happens is your color turns gray. So you can't let them touch. You need to have the color by itself as like a middle person that's keeping them separated. All right? You do not want, if your value ball looks like that or has gray in it, I have you do it again. It takes a couple times sometimes. Okay? Now, as far as cleaning your brush, why don't you wait and watch me first? Alright, as far as cleaning, what you want to do, because you're not doing it with me, we're not doing this as a guided activity, you're going to watch and then go to your seat. What you're going to do is always wipe your brush off before you put it in the water, so your water doesn't get dirty. You want to keep it as clean as possible. Alright, so now I'm going to mix some blue into the black. Notice when I take the blue, if I'm using the dark, I go from this side, using the light, go from that side, so that this does not get black and blue mixed together. Do y'all got that? You got to keep them separated. I mean the black and white. Alright, now you're going to paint your values. Got 1, 2. Now that doesn't look dark enough to me, so I'm going to grab a little bit more color. I use the napkin more than the water to clean my brush, except for when I want to switch back to something that has black or white in it. So I'm going to use this, clean it, so I can get my pure colors.
What is nobody laughing at her? I don't know. What nobody laughing at her? Laughing at something? No.
And that's your 5. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, what I'm going to do is take my 5, and I'm going to make my core shadow. Now, this is where I need you guys to watch, because it gets confusing, and if you try to follow me and paint at the same time, you're going to miss what I did, because it's fast.
Put the darkest one on the outside.
You want your core shadow, but when you start to mix, here's what happens. Less paint is more. Less paint is more, less paint is more. Less paint is more. So what happens is, as you pull away from that dark spot, you got black mixed in here right now. So you wipe this off. Now you're going to go to the light side. So they're not going to touch. You're going to go to the light side.
Did we just put pure black up there, or did we put the black mixed with the blue?
You need black and blue mixed. So I want that a little darker. Alright, now this is where things get messed up. Are y'all watching? This is where things get messed up right here. And here's why. You got to blend this into your blue, and you got to do that without letting them get mixed together. So you want to clean your brush. And I like the brush to be drier. Can I get some middle? Alright, now I'm not going to touch either one, but what I'm going to do is I am going to blend this right now. Here's how you blend it, just like you did with your pencil, but with your brush. You wipe it off, and you make it dry. there's really no paint on it. When you wipe it off, kind of make sure you're not getting more of the wrong paint on it too. Alright, once it's like that, you can take this and you can buff it together like this.
Yeah.
And if you want it to get lighter, you can grab some lighter. But when you're buffing and you're blending, you don't want a lot of paint. So what I do is I do this dry brush thing where I take it, I put paint on it, and I paint off to the side a little bit so it's not goopy. That way, when you go to paint, you're dry brushing, and that's even too much. You just want to lightly, slightly change it. If you have to change it slowly. A filbert.
Isn't this one?
It's kind of like a filbert.
You mean
It's a little. That one's not too bad to use. Thank you, Precious. That was nice. Alright, so when you're done with this, you can go in and you can put your highlight, just like that. You need your cast shadow. Hold it up. The shorter one is too long. It won't work really well.
It looked like only Precious had one.
Yeah.
Like that one that's in front of it.
This one right here.
That's pretty good, as long as it's soft.
It's
That's great. You're going to be on my video and on YouTube. Are you happy about that?
gonna be on YouTube.
Yep.
This is hard.
Oh.
This brush is hard.
Alright. So that's how you get that. Alright, and like I said, if you're blending, dry your brush. While the paint is still wet, you can blend them together. What you don't want to do is blend the white toward the black. Alright, you got to keep this middle neutral. Alright.